Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you some of the small projects I'm working on utilizing GPT-3 and GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 models. First of all, I will say some disclaimers in the beginning. First of all, utilizing the LLM model cannot substitute your learning journey of coding because as my personal journey, now I'm starting on my own about how to code and some of the data science projects. But utilizing the LLM models will help you jumpstart, but the more you utilize such models, you will realize that you still need to learn the basics. You still need to learn how to do the design, how to better code, how to know more about the different Python. The language I now use is Python. How to use the different Python libraries. That being said, this I could say a sharing or tutorial is to let you understand the journey of my personal experience from zero to get a small project done utilizing GPT 3.5 and GPT 4. Um, then another point is that ChatGPT 4.0, of course, by different metrics, we can see it performs better than 3.5. But considering the speed, 3.5 is superior. But I'm going to show you some of the difference during this journey, step by step. Okay, let's start. So today, what I'm picturing about what I want to do is to show some of the stock price data in a dynamic line chart, and also I can dynamically see the standard deviation during the choosing period. So, first of all, every time when I imagine such a small project, I would go to the ChatGPT and start asking questions. I do not use a prompt engineering technique to actually make the prompt more sufficient or get a better result. So usually I just ask the question, and whenever I meet some of the misgap, the gaps between my code and the result, or the result I expected and the result the GPT gave me, I will ask back. Or when I meet some of the code is not performing well, I have a lot of bugs, I will go back to ask to like to so it is manually interactive process to uh, get information from GPT and give feedback to GPT and eventually get the results. Uh, I would like to say in advance that most of the time I cannot get a very perfect result from the coding experience with GPT, but I think it is a base. It can be served as a basis for me to explore better about data visualization, data analytics, and so on. Okay, so let's jump to today's project. So basically, I asked I need a Python code to get Google stock price showing line chart 1 month interval, right? So GPT just gave me some explanation about different packages, asked me to install them before running the code, and showing the code as below. So uh, when I get this code, the first thing I copy it here and run it. Okay. The reason I'm asking such a simple question is that I want to deepen. I want to go further with my question in the later steps because I have experienced that whenever you have a very big concept, you describe a lot of things. LLM model most of the time cannot catch it, like we do, like a professional programmer can do. But if you separate it into piece by piece, you can use a step-by-step process to actually get a different part of your idea. That might be a better way for you to realize your targets. So that being said, It imported like the Y-finance the library and matplotlib, and also the date and also import the data, and we can see that this code can run, right? It can get the Google stock price with the interval. Let's see, here is 30 days, all right? So it works fine, right? If you want to check the code, you can pause here, okay? But I'm going to go on. So getting such static line chart, I can verify several things. First of all, the data source works. Okay, the second thing, the line chart works. Okay, so basically I can see that the data retrieving process and also the visualization process works using such code. I'm not going to go deeper on each line of the code, okay, to explain, because either you can type it into GPT, or you can go to Stack Flow, you can go to multiple sources, or if you can go through the books of Python, you can always get a different explanation, okay, and many open source resources you can use to understand the code. Okay, I'm not going to go by line, but I'm going to show you the journey. So that being said, next one, I'm going to go deeper. I say I need to make the chart dynamic. So when I point to one point, it can show price and date. Okay, so now it starts to introduce more complicated, more libraries for me to use. For example, this is a MPL cursors, this library. Okay, it give me the code, and I can say now there is one part of the code describing how to use cursor, okay, to actually um, to get the dynamic result. So first of all, I did not actually go deeper to understand the structure of such code, but I'm going to try directly. First of all, I install this library because I tried, it was not in my PC. And okay, I get this result. So what does it mean? So if I want to get more efficient, my experience tells me not to investigate the code first, but to try it first. So if I already get a closer result to my imagination, to my design, I will go back to check and to verify, cross-validate the code inside. Okay, so now you see this is still a static result. So I'm going to ask for the question. I say no, the graph is not dynamic. Okay, so now it changes strategy because in my previous experience, I use this plot ly, this library, a lot. I know that it can do the job. So basically, after some communication, it actually diverts from the original trajectory. So it did not introduce the library which can perform the job. So after I ask, it actually changes to such a library, and we are going to see it actually performs very differently. So if you, like I said, if you want to check the code, feel free to pause anytime you want. And here we just go down. Yeah, you see, so basically now this um, first of all, the procedure to get the Y finance data of Google stock price does not change, right? And it creates more code like here to create a figure and a plot, and also it actually dive into the plot ly, the library, to get the functionality to plot and to make a hover text displaying date and price. This is what I expect. It will make the dynamic displaying of the data more user friendly. And also the layout mainly about the title, axis, and so on. And I mean, if you ever coded using R or Python, you know that um, basically when you show a graph, you need such components. Okay, but a different library, different programming language use it differently, right? So let's go down and see. Okay, now and the date is today. I think it is fine. Okay, and the start date is 30 days ago. I also want to choose a different time span. But at this moment, if the code is like this, I want to try. I want to see if it can show the 30 days interval. Yeah, it's okay. It is actually showing the result. Okay. So for this dynamic graph, you can see each day the price, right? When you choose like this, you can see a smaller interval, right? And the date and the price. Okay. It is a dynamic graph. Uh, yeah, I think I already get some improvements. Now I have the dynamic graph line chart. Okay, so I think I already get my result and the code itself. Like I said, at this point, if you want to audit this code, you can do it now. You can do it now to see if it makes sense. I think it makes sense because all the attributes, all the variables, and all the functions are showing in a correct way. So now I'm adding another question to show another dynamic graph of the standard deviation of the reference period. I'm not writing all the words standard deviation, okay? I'm only saying SDD because LLM can understand acronyms and so on, so increase my efficiency. So let's see what it does. It actually improves the code. So uh, just to let you know, if you want to know how it improves the code, you can directly go here to see, okay, it generates the interactive plot, the graph displaying the Google Search price along with a dashed line representing the standard deviation of the reference period. I like it. It makes sense. You can hover over the point to see the corresponding date and price, and the standard deviation will be displayed as a horizontal line. At first, I did not realize there was a problem, but after I running it, okay, I see. Problem number one. Okay, we're going to solve it one by one. First of all, I already see that standard deviation is calculated, but it is plotted against the left side of the axis. So the gauge of the different data are different. So I cannot see how it changes over time. In addition, from this view, it is very close to zero. It is so hard for me to distinguish from the stock price data. So what I want to do is to make it refer to the secondary axis. So I ask this question. It update the code. Okay. If you want to see the code, just pause. And here we go. Okay, I paste this code here. And if you want to examine, you see now we have another y-axis here, right? It actually adds this component in the coding. I think we are going to get a result. Okay, but no. So what's wrong here? Uh, without going into the information or the code, detailed code, I would like to say, okay, let's try to ask GPT again to see what he says. Okay, I see it's not on the secondary access. He apologizes. No, I don't think it's very necessary. I only want the result. So it updated, and let's see. Okay, after one iteration, I get a better result. So at this moment, I can already see the standard deviation on the right-hand side axis. But the problem is, whenever I change the range of the data, standard deviation does not change. So it does not make sense. Okay. If you want to know more about standard deviation, I give you a brief um, description is that standard deviation should change according to the choosing of your data range. So I would expect, for example, if I want to measure the risk of the stock during 1 week, 2 weeks, standard deviation must change. It will measure the fluctuation range of the stock price. It is valuable for me to understand the risk of the stock. So as you can see now, the standard deviation does not change. Why? Because it calculated based on the original chosen uh, time interval already written here. Okay, the start and end date of this particular code block is fixed. Yes, I can choose different interval, but the initial calculation was already done. So I cannot change the calculation of the standard deviation later on. A good thing about the current result is that if I'm going to say, okay, I just want to see the standard deviation with a fixed result of the past 30 days. Okay, you get it. Now you can stop. And you can see during such 30 days, how did the stock price change? For example, here, right? Only problem is that you don't see the line of the standard deviation because it's too far away. But you can still see the dynamic displaying. I would say this is a good result, but I want to test the GPT and get the result I want. Now let me have the option to choose the time span because I think uh, usually you will not say, okay, I see the graph, I'll choose like this. Choose a box and let it zoom in. Okay, I want to see a time span. It's more user friendly to provide you more options. Okay, and in the meantime, I want to share with you that with this library, you can choose dynamically the data you want to see. You see, I can choose the stock price or choose the standard deviation, show either of them or none of them or one of them or both of them. So I think it's a good result here. So let's ask a further question. Let me choose a time span. Okay, so it actually give me a lot of code, blah blah blah. And so here, uh, I think it's already we can see here. The program will prompt the user to input a number of days of time span based on the user input. So let's run this block of code to let you know what it means. Okay, so now you can see, please enter. Actually, this box of code will let me actually write a time span, the days here. I need a positive integer as it says, okay, because it's already shown here. Let's try. I want to see 30 days. Okay, I press enter. Yeah, it gives me the calculation of the standard deviation of 30 days and show me the line graph. Okay, if I do it again, I say 300 days. Okay, yeah, it can show the graph. It's useful. I mean, if you just want to examine it statically, I mean, statically, whenever you choose a value, you see this period and you see both the trend of the price and also of the standard deviation of such period. Okay, it can be useful, right? But the problem is I want to choose it dynamically, not by input, but by choosing, because it's more interactive. Okay. For example, if I have never had any experience with VS Code, this software, or any knowledge about programming, I would not intuitively know where to input the value. Okay, so I'm going to keep asking. Okay, I mean I can choose a start and end the date dynamically. I mean, just like when you go to a website, you click a box and you see the drop down menu, drop down box of the year, month, date. Okay, I want to try this first. So it gives me this code. So let's try. Okay, so you can already see now the change he made is here. So what does it mean? you still need to input the value. So I need to input start date and end date. Let's try 2024 01 01. Okay. Then 2024 03 01. Okay. Okay. It actually gave me the plot, and yeah, I can see it. So actually, GPT is understanding from its own way. Dynamically means that you can choose freely or choose with a better user interface. Okay, it's kind of different things because at this part, you realize that if I could have made this prompt more specific, maybe it will improve, right? It makes sense because now I'm reviewing what I did just like 1 hour ago to show you the process. So you can choose, for example, like this specific step. You can give more information to GPT and try if it can provide you with a better UI. Okay, because eventually I expect to have a like another option, another button, another gauge choosing tool to let me choose the time interval. All right. So by inserting such value, I do not prefer. So let's go on. So I say you allow users to input, but where to insert? Yeah, I asked this question because at first I thought I should input the value here. Again, I want to repeat, I'm not a professional coder. Okay, usually I use Python, I use R, but whenever such I have some question like this, very basic question, I will ask. Okay, so it shows me a lot of things. Okay, it shows me that this get date prompt uh, let the user prompts the user to input the start and end date, which I just did. Okay, but when I first run this code, I forgot and I did not know where to input, so I can ask. Okay, so basically nothing changes. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so this is the code block. Yeah, we can try. Let's just try a longer time span. Okay. Okay, this code still works like I expected. Okay, so let's say allow me to choose date because I still want to choose dynamically have a better user interface. Okay, it blah 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 runs the code. Okay. Okay, it says to select a date range using the range select button. Okay, it is very good, I think. Uh, let's say I think here add a range select button. Okay, this is a very important part to actually activate such function in the library to let me choose a range. Okay, let's see. Okay, here, yes, exactly. I can choose this bar, but pay attention here. Now standard deviation actually goes to the same axis as price, so you can see it's very close to zero. It's not so useful, but we are making one progress is to see the this bar below. So based on this good result, I think we can keep on asking GPT for more improvements. So I say standard deviation not on the secondary axis. Okay, so it updates the code. Okay, it says okay now it's on the secondary y-axis. Let's see. No, it's not. Actually, it actually makes another graph very close. I think very close to the time span choosing bar. It's not what I wanted. Okay, so I'm not sure if the GPT 3.5 is now hallucinating, producing something uh, strange, or it was a problem with my prompt. But I mean, in the future, I would like to do more test and exercise to show you. Okay, you can make a judgment by yourself. But at this point, I think it's not what I want. So I'm going to keep on asking. The standard deviation should change when I choose different time span. Okay, so now I think the problem still exists that the standard deviation does not change. For example, if I choose a different time span, you see the deviation is the same value. I try to ask this question, and let's see if it can solve this problem. So it says, with this code, standard deviation updates dynamically based on the selected data range. When the user selects a different time span, the standard deviation for that time span is recalculated and updated on the plot. So let's see. Okay, define callback to update plot when data range is selected. I think this is a place where it's actually get the updated time range and do the recalculation. But I can tell you that it does not work. Okay, so if you are interested to analyze this part of the code, you can pause here. Okay, but I'm going to run it. So it's like this. Okay, whenever you choose different range, standard deviation does not change. Okay, so the other function was like before. Yeah, so let's do it. Maintain previous structure to choose time span on the graph. Okay, so I try again. It does not work. Just want to save your time. If you want to investigate this code, you can pause anytime you want. So basically, it does not do any job I expected. So without wasting time, I'm going to go on. Standard deviation is not calculated dynamically. Okay, try different type of the question. Yeah, still it does not. Okay, sometimes I did not run here because I already run here one time. I already see the result, so to avoid wasting time. So what do? I keep on asking. It should change when I change the standard deviation when I change the time span. No, still like this. Okay, so let's try. So here, still not. Okay, so I tried to ask many times. Actually, GPT does not give me a good result. Okay, even sometimes the error code. So when I see the error code, let me see where it is. Yeah, I paste the error code here. Okay. So whenever I meet the error code, what do? I paste it back to get a debug. Okay, debug insight. So actually, it says the problem is about the subplot type. Okay, so it helped me revise the code. I try again, still error. Okay, so at this point, I did not actually investigate the error code because I wanted to solve it for me to save time. Okay, so actually, when I come back with this question, give me a new code. Okay, the problem is solved. I'm very pleased with such a result. But you can see now we are back to the original result, okay, with some improvements, which is now we can see they are in different axes. Good sign. It comes back to the right trajectory of our quest. And now we can see this graph dynamically, but still we do not see the standard deviation calculated dynamically. So I said it's not dynamically calculated. So it updated. Let's see. Oh, nothing changes. Okay, just to save your time. Yeah, no, nothing changes. So I'm just going to say, at this point, I realize it is a hurdle that it cannot surpass. So it does not change to a different library. It cannot give me a different solution. Nothing changes. So what do I do? I'm trying a simpler request. Of course, we know that to change the max time span to 3 years, we can just change the attributes very easily. Okay, so um, let's see. Yeah, so this is a very simple request. It did its job. Okay, so we can choose the time span. The total time span is 3 years. Okay, it's perfect. This graph. This kind of parameter change or variable change for GPT is easy task. Okay, you do not even need to investigate the code. I mean, generally speaking, for a more prudent way, you need to check each single line of the code to make sure that it does not deviate from your project, from your task. Okay, let's just say we still keep on trying. I want to say I want to see the standard deviation in a parallel chart. I want to see if it is possible, so I can keep on asking. Okay, so now I only see one graph. I want to see a parallel one on the right with a bar chart to show the standard deviation. I want to see if it can change dynamically. But after trying this modification, yeah, nothing changes. Okay, it actually makes the graph less readable than before. Okay, so I try. Why I see one line chart, the other another line plus static standard deviation, then time span with the standard deviation like this. So it changes the code, and I get back to the original result. So at this moment, if you want to stop here, okay, you save the last code block. You can perform objective to get one stock price at least, calculate the stock price standard deviation with your defined time span. If you want to choose the different time span, you can come back to the previous ones. The code where you can choose the time span below, you can insert the start and end day. You can choose 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, different interval by inserting a value to the variable. Okay, you already have such tools. So at this point, if your objective is to, okay, you say, okay, today I don't want to explore more stocks, I can stop here. Okay, this can be the foundation for you to explore the next step. You can either develop by yourself or ask GPT to help you improve. You can always use GPT to help you debug, or you change some of the variables, or you find a more efficient way to express your idea in the code. You can try. Okay, but below I'm going to keep on trying. Okay, so I want to delete the standard deviation line. Okay, get this pure stop price because I want to simplify the question and then come back again. So I say add more top cap stocks. At this moment, the GPT understands not using a calculation. For example, to fetch the capitalization data from the library, utilizing the library, and to compare and to get the top. Okay, it actually has this memory. That's Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. These are the top tickers, top capitalization um, stocks. Okay, so I think it's good for now because I don't want to actually make it too complicated to increase the calculation time. Because you can try to ask it to calculate the capitalization comparison, or the average price comparison, or the standard deviation comparison, and rank the stock. I tried it before. Actually, it got into the Standard and Poor stock list. It calculated all the attributes and the variables, but it took too much time. So I'm going to agree with GPT, and let's try. Okay, with fixed stickers, and we get the stock result. You can see whenever you move the cursor, you can see the different stock price is changing. I think it's working well. Okay, you can compare the different stock price statically at each point, and you can see the trend. At this point, you can also choose combination of the stock, right? So here I want the time span choosing below. Okay, so it actually does its job to update the layout and so on. So let's see if it works. Yeah, it works, right, like before. So it's more intuitive. You do not need to come here and draw a rectangular box. Here you can see the change of the stock. It's okay. Then I said another independent code to calculate the standard deviation of a stock in the chart, because at this moment I realize either the library itself cannot realize two graphs at the same time, or there are some more technical reasons I need to investigate. So at this point, I think it would be a good idea to see a different graph, right? So I ask it to change, okay, change the code and the bar trace for standard deviation. I think this is a bar chart code. You can check the details later, or you can try in GPT. But let me show you the result. Okay, calculation, blah blah blah, everything done. Okay, now we see this graph. So basically, it's just statically showing the standard deviation data. Okay, so yeah, I think so. Now it's a 3 years span. If I wanted the static data, okay, it's fine. But I want the dynamic, right? I cannot choose time span to see stock standard deviation in different time span. Okay, so it updated. Let's see if it actually did what I asked. No. Okay, at this point, I realize there is a hurdle here. Okay, so the time span can match with the line chart time series data. But whenever I'm trying to ask it to dynamically calculate and give a feedback to the code block or to the memory. I'm not very technical about describing this callback process. But at this moment, I only see static data. So I keep on asking. I cannot choose time span. Okay. So it give me the option to enter start date, enter end date. Okay. I already tried before. I'm not going to enter again. You can see my previous result. I actually input the start and end date. One flaw here, I should let it show the start and end date, so it makes sense. Otherwise, looking at this single graph, you know nothing. What is the standard deviation referring to? Okay, so this is a problem. I cannot choose time span. Let it iterate. Okay, still the same result. Do not let me choose a date. Let me choose 1 month, 2 months. I'm thinking that maybe to limit the choice I have, it will give a more interactive interface to me. Okay. Okay, so here it actually makes sure the time span is 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Okay, available once. But you see here, some of the functions like calculate start and end date based on choosing time span, I think is like before. Let's check. Yeah, it's like before. So it mainly added this time span fixed value 1 2 3 months. And here we can see The result is it's useful, yeah, but I cannot uh, dynamically choose. Okay, in a way, I can dynamically choose. For example, I can say I don't want to see anything. I want to see 1 month. I want to see 2 months. I want to see 2 months with 1 month standard deviation. Yeah, it's okay. Uh, the limitation is that whenever every day when you run this program, the end date changes. Okay, but it's useful. You can see that, for example, like the Amazon stock, the 3 months standard deviation is much larger than the 2 months one, which means from a longer time span, it is very volatile. Okay, so this means that the risk of investing in such stock in 3 months time span, looking back, is actually very high. So let's go on. I try to say I'm an investment counsel. Uh, how to input? Okay. So here, yeah, is that uh, I think that was a question when I run this code and I made again. I asked that question. Yeah. So let's just go on. Yeah, it just tells me how to input, right? So whenever you want to input a value, usually you input in this box here, overwrite. Let's go on. I see I want to choose different time span, show span data, different color in one bar chart. Okay. So at this moment, let me check. Yeah, I think until this point, I still did not have the option to see standard deviation in a dynamic way. Uh, but now I want to see additional data. I want to see the return on the signal axis. Of course, GPT already provide me a way to calculate return. I think it's from the percentage change function. Let's see here. Yeah, it actually gave me this mean return. Okay. Uh, yeah, at this moment, I do not investigate the detailed methodology of calculate, but let's see how it shows. Okay, I always prefer to see the display of the data, then come back to see the logic. Okay, so now we can see it's not a very good display because usually you see the return and also the bar chart, they should be together, right? With different color. So you know standard deviation is at this level, and also the return is at this level, for example, right? So I ask it to show, show 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years standard deviation in the bar, return in the dots, same graph, sharing, same names on x-axis. So let's see if it understands. Okay, it changes the code. Here we go. We can see a lot of data here. We can also dynamically choosing. It's a very good sign. But the problem is that the return data is also referring to the left side. So they are using different gauge, so we do not see it very clearly. I mean, let's try if we deselect all the standard deviation data, and maybe we can see the return data more clearly. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, here we go. It's not very intuitive, and it makes me lose time to select the data I want to see. Okay, so I want to limit the range to 1 month, 6 months, 1 year. Like I said, a simpler task will let 3.5 GPT perform very well. Okay, it did the job, but still I do not see the return data. I do not see the return data in a different access. But if you just point to one point to a single stock, you can see it. Okay, you can see the data. But you can see here is Amazon in 1 year span. If you want to see another time span, you need to choose a different data series on the choice on the right. Okay, so it's not I say it's not a very useful because it's mixed and there are too many data series. It's not very intuitive. So I want to say show standard deviation on the right hand side. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, actually, there is a right hand side axis, but where is the dot? The dot is missing. Okay, so let's try group by stock because first of all, I want to say, okay, like we saw before, for Amazon stock, I want to see the standard deviation or mean return data just stacked together, okay, for me to compare easily. So here is still, see here are so many data series, not very good for me to view. Then let me go down. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Actually, let's see. This must match to the. Yeah, let me investigate one moment. Yeah. So, actually, at this point, let me see. So this is the result. I said group by stock. Let's see. I think it's not working very well because now it's not grouping by stock. It's grouping by the time span, right? So I asked, let's ask to I need left axis on price, right on standard deviation, price in bar, standard deviation in dot. Try again. Yeah. So after this request, it actually gave me this. Okay, it's in dot. Okay, about the I think this is a return. No, actually not. It is a standard deviation. No, it's a standard deviation. You can see here, but it also matches a different price on the left. Um, but again, this is not what I wanted. I want a bar chart and a dot chart. Okay, so now I realize there must be a limit here. Okay, so I actually said one more try. I do not see the bar. See what the GPT understands. And here, let's see. Okay, so I got stuck. Okay, at this point, I stop a 3.5 model. I go to the 4 GPT-4 model because I trust, I believe that by choosing the model, I can get a better result. The reason usually I don't start with GPT-4 is that sometimes GPT-4 gives more detailed result, but it takes more time, and sometimes it even run the code, okay, to try the code. But whenever I got the hurdle in 3.5, I'll go to version 4. Okay, let's see. Uh, I started by copying this last code here. Okay, first of all, pay attention. When you want to debug that code or you want to improve the code, I would suggest you to put your instruction in front, not in rear. Because most of the time, if I put my instruction in rear, it will give me a, a rerun of the code and not improvement. Because now I said improve below code to group values by stock tickers, left axis for price, right for standard deviation. Then this GPT understands and it will work on the code below. Okay, so now it gives a more structured response with a detailed step and suggestions. I think it's very useful if you want to start coding. This is a very good start. And like I said, like the efficiency and the code organization, I think at this point, there's no AI model, as far as I know, can actually substitute a human 100% at this step. About readability, of course, you always need to have a professional to write a better description. Yeah, GPT can do detailed explanation, but sometimes it's not very intuitive. Visualization clarity, of course, what I'm trying to achieve here, it is my objective. It also described very clearly. Yeah, this is very good. So let's go on. Yeah, start from here. Yeah, copy the code. So now you see the code block has some changes. First of all, it added a lot of description to tell you how the parameters are going to be utilized, are structured, the code, and so on. Okay, so it used some functions. Okay, for I think it's called function. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, let's try this code. More interestingly, it also said the key enhancements. I think it's very useful. You can try. You can try to read this part. If you want to pause, please pause here. Okay, now let's see. Okay, the first try it already gives me what I wanted. So at this point, I think there is an improvement. Okay, I already see um, this graph that I wanted. You see the um, price and the standard deviation data in the same data series or the same ticker, and I can see right standard deviation, left stop price. A very good start, and the visualization is good. I like it. So let's improve. Can I dynamically choose the evaluation time span? What does it do? Okay, so here I can choose like before. Okay, let's try here, run the code again. You see, here is a box where I need to choose a span. The span is like 30, 180, 365. Let's try a different one, like 40. Let's see if it runs. Yeah, it runs. Also on the values, integer in between. Yeah, I would say if I want to investigate this data, I think at this moment it is okay. Yeah, at this moment, at least better than GPT 3.5. because after multiple choice, it cannot put the dot and bar together. So GPT still does a great job at a 4.0 version. It give me additional how it works. Okay, it shows me how it works. So I say, how can I choose from a dynamic drop-down window, a drop-down menu? Because I tried before, sometimes GPT can give me a drop-down window menu here to choose a different time span. I'm saying, can it work again, like what I saw before? So now, an interesting thing is that GPT-4 give me a different idea. First of all, explaining that I cannot have access to the GUI elements like drop-down menu directly. Makes sense. And how Python scripts in the executed in such environments rely on text-based input and output. Okay, there are some limitations. However, okay, there are ways to create interactive experience and a graphical interface that includes drop-down menus for selecting options dynamically, such as using web framework or GUI libraries. Okay, so here, blah, blah, blah. If you want, you can read it. So let's try. Here is a T-Kinter for drop-down menu. Okay, this is creating a simplified GUI. Let's try here. So uh, let's try run this code. You see now on my screen, here is a small box. Okay, you see I do not yet have this output here. Okay, the system is running. But the good thing is that I can choose from a drop-down menu. This is completely new for me. Okay, but I think, I mean, if I run this code in my local environment, it is very useful. Yeah, I can say. So I choose 6 months, fetch and plot, right? If I try again 1 month, fetch and plot. A good thing here is that whenever I choose a span, you see this code keeps on running, waiting for my input from this window of a value to create new graphs and so on. So based on here, you can understand that you can expand this drop-down list, expand the options, the choosing of the stock group, different stock, 4, 5, 6, your portfolio, and you can make different variations. I think at this moment, this is um, a good result I achieve at this moment. Okay, so when I close it, I want to close it. Okay, whenever I close the window, it stopped. This is good. It is not keep on running. It does not keep on running. So I think this is good. So it also explains you how it works. If you want, you can pause here and see. Okay. Now I'm saying integrate to the previous code. Okay. So let's see here what it does. Yeah, sorry, just let me investigate one moment. Yeah, I think this is the same result. Okay, integrate with the previous code. Okay, so actually, the best result I have is like this. Okay, and then I said how to cumulatively show what I chose. Okay, so basically, I want you to know if I can, for example, choose uh, one time span, second time span, and make them stacked together to show one stock, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and so on. Altogether, different bar charts and different dot plot. So at this moment, I don't know why I already violated the usage policy. So I already read the policy. I don't know why still. However, let's try this last code block. Yeah, let's try what it shows. Okay, so I don't think there are many, how can I say, many changes. Let's say 1 month, fetch and plot. See here, right? Then we choose 6 months, fetch and plot here. Then let's choose 1 year, fetch and plot. Yeah, so basically, whenever I choose a time span, I see, I see the data from that time span. So I'm going to stop here today. So next time I'm going to keep on exploring either the same data, or I choose a different way to show you how to use the GPT. So just to wrap up, from there are several points I want to share with you. First of all, you can say GPT-4 and GPT 3.5. 3.5 is faster, 4 is more instructive, more detailed, more advanced. Okay, so I would suggest the combination of the utilization of the two models to achieve your best result with higher efficiency. Second point, um, talking and utilizing a GPT, like I'm supposing that I am not a professional coder, to use it to code, it actually takes more time to uh, express yourself to get your desired result. And also you need time also to debug. In this example, you already saw I had two times the experience to actually try to debug the errors. But in more complicated cases, like I tried before, I utilized many instances, many times I need to debug. So it depends. And if you, after trying the GPT to help you code, you can learn better about coding and incorporate what you learn from the coding course to the implementation of your code. So actually, when you have better idea about the loops, about different function, about different library, you will make your code better. But with GPT, you can debug more efficiently, you can write code more efficiently. I have never tried like the Copilot product to actually make coding more efficient. I'm not there yet. Maybe I will try later. But at this moment, with the GPT product, with my own local coding environment, I achieved some results. So I guess at this moment, this is what I want to share, and I wish it would be useful for you. If you want to discuss anything and want to see more trial of the coding, feel free to let me know. And see you next time. Bye bye.